All right, good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the big story on Daybreak Live here on Dominion Television. I am your host, Samson Balogan. Today, we turn our focus to Osun State, where the political atmosphere is already warming up despite the 2026 governorship election still being over a year away. For subtle alliances to bold declarations to the stage is being set. And the early maneuvering of political heavyweights is beginning to shape the conversation about who might occupy the governor's office, Government House in Osogbo, come next session, which is just after the election. Now, Osun State has rich history of fiercely contested elections and political surprises, and 2026 promises to be no different to what we currently see. Already, emerging aspirants are testing the waters, building networks, gauging grassroots support, and crafting narratives that could resonate with the electorate. But beyond the personalities, there are the questions of governance, party dynamics, and the issues that will matter most to the people of Osun. So, in this edition of The Big Story, we unpack the strategies, the stakes, and the silent battles being fought long before the official campaign season begins. Yes, that's the idea. The campaign has not even started. But when you look at the landscape in Osun as we speak, people are beginning to mix. Consultations are going on. Permutations are going on. Take, for example, recently, Governor Ademola Adeleke in Osun State was seen obnobbing with the president, the vice president. Of course, there were insinuations that he would love to join the APC and contest under the political party. But then, as we count down, things changed. There are insinuations that the president said, look, if you want to be a part of this political party, you have to go to Osun State and be a member. Go and join. They come from the PDP. And then you will fight for the ticket with other qualified candidates in the APC. But Governor Ademola Adeleke supposedly said no. That, look, if I'm coming to your political party with my people, you give me the ticket automatically. But the APC doesn't want to do that. And if they will do, will the people of Osun vote for APC in the next election, judging by the antecedent of Rauf Aregbesola in that state? And of course, Gboyega Oyetola, who came after Rauf Aregbesola. What happened? Why did Gboyega Oyetola lose the election to Ademola Adeleke, who people popularly call the dancing senator, now the dancing governor? These are things we will look at this morning. And if it goes on, how will we address the grassroots governance in crisis? And how do we unpack the local government power tussle in Osun State? Do not forget that when we talk about local government, there are still issues yet to be solved. Take, for example, there are insinuations that allocations from the state government, from the Federal Executive Council, has not been released to the Osun people. Then, how do you want governance at the grassroots to take effect if allocations are being withheld? Also, the politics of withheld council funds, implications for governance and development in Osun State. What this means is that there will be less development at local council areas. If there is no fund, automatically there will not be projects. But then you also ask questions, do these local government chairmen in Osun State also have autonomy, just like they do not have it in other states? Oyo State, for example, there is no local government autonomy. Osun State, no local government autonomy. Lagos, well, whether they have local government autonomy or they do not have, it is being played somehow in Lagos. At least we see their local government chairman commissioning large projects. I saw one about 2 weeks ago who commissioned an hospital, classrooms, big rooms. But if that is happening in Lagos, can we transfer that into other states? At least if they don't have that kind of autonomy they are looking for, at least they have access to funds. They can construct buildings, bridges, roads, major projects, just like the local government of old will do. But in this situation, if it continues this way, where Ademola Adeleke emerge victorious in the next election come 2026? What are the likelihood that even if he tries to move to another political party, his people who currently see him as their leader in Osun State will be able to follow him into the APC? That and more we are going to discuss on today's edition of The Big Story. Let's go on a quick break. And when we return, the show continues. We'll be back after this time out. All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still The Big Story on Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. Thank you for being a part of the show so far. You can link up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Dominion Broadcast, and of course, drop your comment there. We'll surely take them before the show runs out. I'm joined in the studio this morning by Jacob Olaoluwa Adeshina, who is an historian, researcher, social critic, former student leader, and co-convener of the Youth Vanguard for National Development. Today, he will give us a deep insight into what's shaping Osun's political landscape ahead of 2026. Jacob Olaoluwa, good to have you in the studio.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. And I'm happy to be here. All
right. Let's go straight to Osun State this morning. Yeah. A lot is happening in Osun State. There are permutations and combinations ahead of the 2026 gubernatorial election in that state. Now, Governor Ademola Adeleke at some point allegedly tried to cross carpet from the PDP to the APC and met resistance, especially from party faithfuls who felt that it's going to hinder them from also contesting favorably to be governor of Osun State come 2026. What would you say about the side move? Did it even happen at all? Or was it just a hoax created by some people just to, create flame where there is no fire ahead of 2026 election?
Well, thank you for that. I would say there was a move because I am not an insider and I don't want to cast a shallow perspective on politics in Osun, especially when it concerns Governor Ademola Adeleke. Well, what we hear is that there was a move, like Governor Adeleke, what we all know before the 2022 election was that we all know the relationship between Governor Adeleke and his brother, the father of David Adeleke, and then the relationship continued to go stronger every now and then. And then we also understand the fact that PDP is almost a dead party in Nigerian politics. And
almost a dead party?
Almost a dead party.
That's a bold claim.
But
some PDP members will not agree with you.
Yeah, look, in some states, you can say we still have some sprinkle of presence of PDP in some states, like Oyo State, and also in Osun State. And go to any other state, whether in the north or here in the south, where you will see that PDP is almost a dead party. And then everybody is politicians to some extent. They don't mind. They are not party. They are not loyal to the party. To the party, and they always look for a way to move whenever there is a problem. We have seen that over the years in PDP. Well, even the party leaders are not even concerned about what is going on in the party. They always want to feed for the stomach and what they can also achieve. In PDP presently in Osun State, like it is at the federal level, we all know that PDP is no longer the party we used to know in the time past. And then Governor Adeleke was also looking for a way out of that problem. And then we hear that there was a move between the former governor of Osun State, Chief Bisi Akande, and Adeleke himself wanting to move. And then we all also see that the relationship between the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Ademola Adeleke, whatever was the issue before the 2022 election has been smoother. And then there's a way, there's that relationship, Adeleke wanted to pounce on that relationship to move into the APC. But then we have people in APC who are also just for the ticket.
Are there stronger candidates than Governor Ademola Adeleke in Osun State to be governor come 2026?
Well,
or some candidates who are as strong as Ademola Adeleke?
Well, I am not sure about that. I am not sure there are stronger candidates considering what Ademola Adeleke has been able to achieve in the last 3 years. But what we know is that there is no strong relationship between Ademola Adeleke and the leader of the party in Osun and the former governor, Oyetola. There is no good relationship. And then we also know that Oyetola has so many mentees in Osun State, especially the person who we know in the recent time is Bola Oyebamiji, the former Minister of Commissioner of Finance in Osun from Mikiri. He's a strong candidate and with wealth of experience, even more than Ademola Adeleke when it comes to public service and in the business world, in the corporate world. Oyebamiji, to some extent, is better than Ademola Adeleke. But considering, he was just a commissioner, and then Ademola Adeleke has been governor of Osun State for the past 3 years. He has achievement to his name, unlike Oyebamiji. So people like that are people who are willing to give Ademola Adeleke one for his money. And then the common saying in that party presently is that Ademola Adeleke, even if he joins APC, does not have automatic tickets. And that is problematic to someone like Governor Ademola Adeleke, who is a chairman, who is one of the most important persons in the PDP presently in Osun State, moving to a party where you have to wrestle for the ticket again. And that was the problem which Ademola Adeleke has in that party.
Now, if he has so much goodwill, and the people of Osun love him, why does he want to move from one political party to the other? Does it mean that the PDP is not strong enough to push him to win the next election?
Well, there are some issues we also have to consider, because these issues are in perspective. When you are in a party, you consider what is your relationship with the federal government is. We are not seeing any traces that PDP is going to take over the presidency comes 2027, and then you also want to be in the good book of the president for your state. Apart from the federal allocation, there are some internal politics that also go into this. And then when you don't have any structure at the central level, then you also want to look for, it's a situation where if you can beat them, you join them. And that is the situation. Yes, he has people in Osun State, but people in Osun State are not enough when it comes to internal politics and governance. You need someone, you need ideas, you need people who are interested in your activities, in your programs, in your policies, who can also support it from the federal level. But if you are not getting that from the federal level, you also think about what you can get from the state level may not be enough.
Okay, now, very quickly, how might the internal politics within major parties like PDP and APC influence the emergence of their flag bearers ahead of 2026 election in Osun State?
Yeah, considering we all know, except we want to lie to ourselves or we want to pretend to ourselves, that Ademola Adeleke was able to win the 2022 election based on the fact that there was internal rancor in the APC. In the APC? Yes, especially when the former governor...
So if there was no crisis in the APC, he probably wouldn't have won?
He wouldn't have won. Although there are some other allegations against the then governor, because to some extent, I will also say Itola belongs to the crops of politicians who always emerge from Lagos, apart from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Look at them all. Fashola, Ambode, Sonwo, they are technocrats, unlike normal traditional politicians we know, same as Bego Itola. It is Bego Itola that actually started working. He worked even after losing the election. I know about the Lobu Road. He tied the Lobu Road after he had lost the election.
Even after the election? After
the election. So he's not the kind of politician. He's not the kind of politician.
He's not a traditional politician.
Wow, who put crowds on like Ademola Adeleke. Look at them in Ede and that's Osun Western Interior District. They are there. They have their influence. His father was a politician, his brother was a politician, and then Ademola himself entered into politics of Osun in 2016, if I am not mistaken, 2016, 2017. And the vote that got him the senatorial ticket was a same party vote. I can say it anyway, so the same party vote. People did not consider what is bringing on board, but because people felt like his brother was maltreated in APC, he was killed and then because of that, and then his brother wanted to join the APC, and some people fizzle him out of APC, and then because of that, we also have to compensate his brother, who was good to the people of Osun State, especially Osun State, West Central, and let us give him this. That was how he was able to win the election. And considering his time in the Senate, look at what was the achievement of Ademola Adeleke when he was in the Senate. There was none. There was none.
You're saying he didn't achieve anything as senator?
We, as a senator, no bill to his name, no achievements.
What was he doing there?
Yeah, he was just there. When you join police for the first time, especially when you are not prepared for it, that's kind of things that happen to you.
Politician by accident.
Politician by accident. You can say that again, politician by accident. But then, since he came to power as governor of Osun State, 4 years after he lost the election in 2018, he has been able to actually improve himself technically, and then in 2022. Since then, we've seen some leadership, although even till now, we have not been able to see groundbreaking policies or developments or ideas that Ademola Adeleke has been able to introduce since he became governor. But what we can see is that he pounced on the deficiencies of the APC. You know, APCs run an elite or capitalist government where you bring in policy, you know, white elephant projects and some other things. Because I also believe that you cannot develop a state like Osun State if you continue to feed the stomach and not do some other project that will actually transform Osun State. Now, look at this. In the last 3 years, how many foreign investors has Adeleke been able to bring to Osun State? Little. You know, we talk
compared to Gboyega Oyetola when he was governor.
Yeah, compared to
what's the difference if we juxtapose?
Yes, the issue between Gboyega Oyetola and Ademola Adeleke is like some other people who also came from Lagos. They think about what are the projects we can do that can attract investors, because it's all about capitalist orientation, capitalist ideal about development and all. But Gboyega Oyetola, that is about Gboyega Oyetola. But when it comes to Adeleke, he realized that the government in Osun State is still local. It's still and then you talk about it. Osun State still remain a civil servant state. So you have to fend for the civil servants. You have to fend for the pensioners. And these are the people at the local level who are ready to vote for, who are ready to actually do whatever you need for you. And that's the reason Ademola Adeleke is moving towards those people, paying their salary regularly, unlike what we had during the period of Adeshina when they were being given half salary. Oyetola came in, and we see how some people who are still calling for their pension for over 5 or 10 years have not been paid. But Ademola Adeleke saw this thing as a way in which to actually sell himself to the people. And since then, he has not defaulted in paying the salaries of the people of Osun State, and has been paying some of the backlog of this half salary. And these are what the people want, because Osun's policies still remain at the local. People still want the money. They want to go to the market and see something to buy. They want money to do some of all these things. They don't mind. Some people don't mind about, you know, roads, capital projects, what will attract investors. And some people, there is a gap of knowledge. There is a poverty of knowledge between the elites and the commoners.
I was about to ask you about the people of Osun State. Do you think, as we speak, they are already paying attention to the politics being played in Osun State? Or do you think it's just going to be internal politics, and then whoever plays the best internal politics in Osun is going to win the election come 2026? To be honest with you and to be frank with you, in Nigeria, we still play the opposition politics rather than good governance policies in Osun State. We still have some youth who have access to the internet, who are always on X every now and then on Facebook to see what development is in other states, especially in Lagos State, and what the governor of Ekiti State and other Bago and some other states are doing presently in Nigeria. But some people are still faithful to PDP. Some people, are still faithful to their parties regardless of what is going on. People try to turn away, ignore developments in their states. Sometimes people tend to actually say, no, I don't care whether APC government are doing something good. Some people say, I don't care whether PDP government is doing something good. So that party loyalty rather than good governance is one of the issues we have even among the youth. We feel that this is my candidate, this is the person I want, regardless of whether it's good or not. This person, we saw that even in the 2023 general election, presidential election between the obedient movement and what the people call the Agbado, the Ronu caucus. You understand? We have people like that also who do not care about your track record, who don't care about what you are putting into the state. They also want to, this is my party, this is someone I want, this is someone I feel I can plug myself into and benefit economically from these people, regardless of what they are doing to the state. People tend to play the politics of, well, I am the state, and whatever favors me favors the state. I don't care about what other people want. And because of that, even despite the fact that we have a large number of youth in Osun State who also understand what politics, what good governance is in other states, they still want to plug themselves into the politics of opposition. And that's the reason we have poverty, we have a gap in knowledge between the intellectuals, or between the elites, those who are educated, and those who are not educated. People feel like, well, the whole essence of governance is just for us to get our salary and go. No development, no investors, and people do not understand that
until you have investors trooping in, whether local investors or foreign investors trooping in, that's when you can have employment. Government cannot always create this employment. And that's the problem we are presenting in Osun.
Now, basically, historically, Osun elections have seen surprise breakthroughs. Could an underdog aspirant disrupt the established political order in Osun State come 2026?
Well, I cannot. I believe the other don't can obstruct that, but presently in Osun State, I don't see anything.
You don't see anyone?
I don't see anyone
who can break that?
I don't see anyone who can break. These policies in Osun State between PDP and APC, regardless of what is coming up. And then APC winning in Osun State come 2026 will depend on what is going on at the federal level. And PDP winning in Osun State will depend on if the people still have resentment against APC for like what's it called 12 years of what people consider misrule in Osun State, from Adeshina to Daybreak, what people consider the anti-people policies of these two governors in Osun State. And we are going to see whether the people of Osun State are not about resentment against these two candidates, APC generally, because whether the president is doing economic policies and reforms in Osun, generally in Nigeria, whether it is about the tax reform or whatever is going on, people don't want to care about those things.
Okay, how difficult will it be for the APC to present a strong candidate that is capable of dislodging Demola Adeleke right there in Osun State?
Like I said earlier, I presently, apart from Bola Oyebanji, who has a wealth of experience both in the corporate world and the political scene to his name, I have not seen someone strong enough, who is popular enough to dislodge.
How about the return of Boyega Oyetola?
Well, I don't see that coming. I don't see that coming. You know, I think it is, because the body language of Boyega Oyetola in recent years, I think he has not even been involved in the internal politics. I think he is
the grassroots politics.
And that's one of the problems with Boyega Oyetola. Unlike his mentor, Bola Tinubu, you know, Boyega Oyetola run politics of the elite. Unlike it is these mistakes of the APC that people like Ademola Adeleke pounce on and see, you know, governors is still at the grassroots, and we still have to penetrate the grassroots, and that is the problem. APC, I don't see the coming of Boyega Oyetola, and the candidates APC presents, we rely so much on what the presidency is doing at the federal level. That's what they rely on.
Talking about what the presidency is doing at the federal level, given the challenges Osun faces, economic, infrastructural, and social, do you see any signs that the coming contest will be issue-driven rather than personality-driven contest in the election?
Considering the poverty of knowledge in Osun State when it comes to policy and good governance in Osun State, you know, people tend to believe that good governance is all about paying salaries. No, do you understand? It's going to be a personal issue. I don't believe this is going, because if it will be on issue-driven campaign, we will have started seeing that we are just less than 12 months to the election now. Now, presently, even among the youth, it's still about personality. It's about the personality, and I think that will be the issues come 2023 as well.
Do you see that as a problem for the people of Osun
Yeah,
State?
it is. Yeah, in the long run, it is going to be an issue for the development of Osun State. You know, people considering personality over issues. What should be the issues in Osun State? I think Osun, like Oyo State, also have an arable land good enough, big enough to feed the whole of Southwest. But we are not seeing that. We have a governor in Niger State, Governor Bago, who is doing a lot with the support of the presidency. That's the kind of development we want in Osun State, but we are not seeing that, and it's unfortunate. Infrastructure, Osun is still a little bit behind when it comes to infrastructure. And people are happy. People of Osun are happy. People referring to them as a civil servant state. And these are issues who people feel unconcerned about. Osun should be competing with others. So Osun has resources. Apart from the mineral resources which belong to the federal government, look at the just concluded Osun Shogbo Festival.
Some consider Osun to be the poorest in the Southwest. Is that right?
Absolutely. Poorest when it comes to ideas. poorest when it comes to infrastructure development. But when it comes to resources, Osun tends to be one of the richest in the Southwest, considering what they have as mineral resources, what they have as cultural, cultural heritage. They have the biggest resources in the Southwest, but they are the poorest. That tells you about the leadership of Osun over the years, and the orientation and the lack of exposure of the people of Osun when it comes to policies and when it comes to governance.
And what do you think the Osun people can do to break the barrier, to bring on board an innovative leader that understands how to drive Osun forward?
Well, I think one of the issues that can actually help Osun is this issue of local government autonomy. I can't imagine, I don't know any local government out of the 30 local government in Osun that is collecting less than 500 million per month. But we can hardly see a project of 5 million in any local government in Osun per month.
Where is the money going?
Where is the money going? That's the question. Where is the money going? You know, and that's the reason why governor forums are actually fighting the presidency against this Lagos, local government autonomy. And you should consider every state wants to be like Lagos, but they don't want to take the ideas of Lagos. One of the greatest achievements of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos State was the local government autonomy. You know, even creating 37 LCDA from the total 20 local governments, making 37 local government and LCDA combined. And that's how development was able. People were able to penetrate the local areas, and that was how Lagos was developed. You understand? But people want something. You see local governments, you see governor of Osun competing with local government chairman in Lagos when it comes to infrastructure development. And that kind of belittle a state like Osun State with enormous resources and cultural heritage that are good enough to fetch them more.
State governor competing with local government chairman in Lagos State.
In Lagos State,
in terms of infrastructure.
In terms of infrastructure, you see local government chairman in Osun building big hospitals and construction road, and then governors of Osun cannot even construct like 5 kilometers of road. You know, sometimes, you know, I went to Osun recently and I saw some of the roads that were constructed when in the first 200 days of Ademola Adeleke, and they are already in
shambles.
Shambles, and then you consider, so where is the money? You allocated a lot of money for this project. Same thing with Oyetola, same thing with Adeshina. You know, we have issues like Bono, and at the end of the day, after like 3 seasons of rain, the roads are not good again. And when you go to Lagos, you see local government chairman constructing good roads, infrastructure, schools, like the Badagry local government chairman. What he launched before he left office recently. You see that, and you find a similar project in Osun State, and you can't find one, and it is a shame that you can't find one.
Jacob Adeshina, have you been to the north? Do you see their quality of roads? What is wrong with us in the Southwest?
Well, it is really, I say this every time, and sometimes I'm ashamed of saying this thing to people, even to the intellectual, the so-called intellectuals, the so-called youth. I'm always ashamed of saying this, you know. See, apart from good infrastructure in the north compared to what is in the south, because these people understand that, well, we don't have the resources. But the little time we can actually use, the little money we can get from these people in the South, you know, starting from the 1914, I'm sorry for taking you back to history, because when you check the
1914 amalgamation,
when you check the amalgamation document, I think it was in page 4 of the amalgamation document, well, it was written boldly. It was written boldly by Lord Lugard that one of the greatest reasons for the amalgamation was that the British government cannot continue to sponsor the northern part of Nigeria. That it is between the amalgamation was between a rich spinster and a poor bachelor. North was referred to as the bachelor, poor bachelor, and a rich spinster. So it shows that the reason for the amalgamation was to bring resources from the south to take care of the north. And that's what is still playing out today. Because the northern oligarchy realize that they have limited resources. These resources they are getting is also from the north, although they are also not to some extent, you know, when you consider the number of people who are still poor in the north. But when it comes to infrastructure, they are doing well, more than the so-called the intellectual in the south. the so-called educated in the South. You know, people, I've seen senators, honorable, selling slots given to them because they needed the money. They will tell you, we need the money. And you see, and you cry and say, why don't we have people, people of the Southwest in the Army, in the EFCC, CBN, and then you see, you go to CBN and you see people speaking Hausa.
Slots are being sold.
Are being sold by our people in the Southwest, by our people in the southern part of Nigeria, so even to the Northerners, because those people understand what politics is. They understand these are the people they can always go and meet whenever it is time for election, and they will rally on and give them funds to campaign. But here in the Southwest, you see people actually laundering money out of the country. You see people, you know, the idea that there should be a gap between the rich and the poor, so that when election comes, whenever we throw comes at them, they will come to us. I think that is a problem with the southern politicians. They feel like they need to widen the gap. They have weaponized poverty in this country, especially people from the southern Nigeria. So it is so wide to the extent that whenever election comes, they give, 2 decades of rice and people start rushing. And that is the way they win election in the south part of Nigeria.
Jacob Olaolu Adeshina, thank you for being a part of the show this morning.
Thank you so much.
It has been a wonderful session with you.
Thank you.
Jacob Olaolu Adeshina is an historian, researcher, social critic, former student leader, and co-convener of the Youth Vanguard for National Development. Of course, he has been able to give us insights into what's shaping Osun's political landscape ahead of 2026 election. Now, as Osun edges closer to 2026, the political game is not just about ambition. It's about vision, credibility, and the ability to connect with the people's needs and aspirations. The early maneuvering we see today may well determine tomorrow's reality. We'll keep our eyes on every move, every shift, and every voice that seeks to shape the state's future. Until next time, tomorrow, on The Big Story, I'm Sam Sebalogun, reminding you that in politics, the countdown often starts long before the clock says so. Thank you for being a part of the show.